Hello, my name is Jack Raffle, and I'm delighted to present my final year project, Defenders of the Last Camp. In this video, I will take you through the development process, discussing the creative and technical challenges faced when developing a real-time strategy game in Unreal Engine 5. I will provide insights into the tools, processes and techniques utilised during development, as well as the problems encountered and solutions found. Let's dive in. The development of Defenders of the Last Camp began with the creation of a top-down RTS camera controller. I utilised the default top-down Unreal Engine 5 template as a foundation for this project. To enhance player navigation, I implemented multiple camera movement modes in all 4 axes, allowing players to explore the game world seamlessly. I achieved this by calculating the mouse position within the viewport and normalising the values. This ensured consistent camera movement across different screen sizes. To address a common issue identified during playtesting where players were not fully aware of their main character's importance, I incorporated additional camera functionality. Now, when no friendlies or buildings are selected, the camera smoothly adjusts its position to focus on the main character. This not only enhances player immersion, but also ensures better protection of the main character. Furthermore, I implemented a limited screen edge movement, acting as a camera boundary. This encourages players to explore beyond their immediate surroundings and discover unexplored areas, adding an element of excitement and adventure to the game. The Friendly Survivor AI plays a crucial role in enhancing this gameplay experience. Taking inspiration from classic RTS games like Command & Conquer Generals and Red Alert 3, I aim to design AI-controlled units that exhibit some degree of intelligent behaviour while allowing players to have control over their primary actions. By selecting a friendly AI with left-click and right-clicking in the world, the player can move the AI to specific locations. My thinking behind this was so that players could micromanage friendly AI locations to defend their colony, or in the early stages of their colony's development, help to watch your back. Additionally, I implemented resource gathering functionalities within the friendly AI behavior tree, and programmed the AI-controlled survivors to effectively collect specific resource types on a collect resource task. This ensured that the colony could grow, as this was an important factor to aid in player progression. While on the topic of player progression, I allowed players to construct various building types from a building menu. The structure building system forms as an important aspect of Defenders of the Last Camp, giving players the freedom to build their colony wherever they like. In order to ensure efficiency and consistency in my buildings, I implemented a strategy that involved using a parent-child building relationship, making use of inheritance. This approach allowed each building to inherit shared attributes and functionalities while having distinct visual appearances. The playable protagonist in the game acts as the player's representative, allowing them to engage with the virtual environment. To improve the character's movement and responsiveness, I utilised the default top-down player controller and implemented a custom macro to cancel the Move To location command by pressing any of the WASD keys. This feature offers increased flexibility and agility in adjusting their target location quickly in case they don't want to travel to that location. To maintain gameplay balance, I incorporated an overlap check system to prevent players from exploiting the building menu's building ghost, as I had an issue early on which allowed players to hit zombies and friendlies across the map by slamming the ghost into them. This was fixed by allowing the building's collision to ignore pawns during placement and block them afterwards. This system prevents buildings from being placed on top of each other or colliding with existing buildings or actors. This removes exploits and adds depth to the gameplay experience, requiring players to carefully plan their building placements ahead of time. Moreover, the building system allows for the rotation of structures in 10-degree increments. This proves useful when constructing defensive walls. Initially there was an issue with the wall placement due to collision capsule size. The collision check capsule component is automatically destroyed after placing a wall, allowing subsequent placements to occur. This customization empowers players to create personalized defensive perimeters and shape their colonies according to their own strategies. The enemy zombie AI added excitement and intensity to the game. The zombies exhibited dynamic roaming behaviour and used pawn sensing components to detect survivors, which would break them out of their random roam, making them more threatening to the player as they pursue in groups. I started to implement combat interactions, including a dynamic health bar that only shows up in radius to the zombie, and only when they have taken damage, to give players vital information on the zombie's health without cluttering the screen. I also worked on ragdoll physics after death to further enhance the overall immersion with a custom cleanup variable to help with optimization. The zombie AI's randomized roaming behavior made their movements unpredictable and increased the intensity of encounters with players, as more could randomly come and attack you from outside your view. The enemy zombie AI spawner played a vital role in maintaining the game's difficulty curve. As players survived more days, the spawner gradually increased the number of zombies spawned. This steady escalation kept players engaged and forced them to adapt their strategies accordingly. It was crucial to ensure that the game remained challenging but fair. Through iterative testing and adjustments, I achieved balance that allowed for strategic decision making and steady skill development. The building UI offered players clear and accessible information for effective construction. To aid in decision making, a visual preview of the building placement was implemented. This feature allowed players to see a hologram or ghost of the structure in the game world before confirming its placement. This featured green and red placement textures to indicate if the building was able to be placed. Usability and navigation were improved through organization within the scroll box. The scroll box allowed for easy browsing and selection of different building options, making the UI intuitive and user-friendly. I had worked on implementing building categories which would lead players to specific building menus with only necessary buildings, but ran out of time to fully implement this. Resource management was a crucial aspect of the game, requiring players to allocate resources effectively for survival and colony expansion. Sub-resources affected colony morale, highlighting the consequences of mismanagement. Resource nodes provided valuable resources and encouraged exploration. Different resources such as food, water, medicine, wood and scrap metal were essential for various aspects of the game, from constructing buildings to maintaining colony morale. Sub-resources which influenced camp morale added complexity to the resource management system. For example, insufficient food supplies decrease morale, which would negatively impact the survivors' performance and overall camp efficiency. But in my demo, this just reduced overall colony morale. To encourage exploration and provide additional resources to the player, resource nodes were scattered throughout the game's map. Players could gather resources from trees, scrap piles, rewarding their curiosity and incentivizing thorough exploration. While the building upgrading system aimed to provide visual cues and a sense of progression, technical complexities and time constraints limited its implementation. Instead, the focus was placed on core mechanics such as resource management, the building system, and resource collection to ensure an engaging gameplay experience. During the development process, I faced multiple challenges in implementing an intricate day and night cycle with functional fast-forward buttons and a building upgrading system, especially when using a 3D widget button for the first time. While these features held great potential for enhancing the immersion and progression in the game, their implementation required extensive testing and posed significant technical hurdles that proved difficult to overcome. This combination of technical complexity and the learning curve associated with using screen space 3D widgets in this manner further impeded the progress of the features. My main issue with getting the day-night cycle working was synchronizing the movement of the sun with the in-game clock for an advanced day and night cycle. This proved technically challenging, especially when speeding up time. Exploring alternative approaches presented new challenges, and considering the time constraints, a simpler day and night cycle was implemented, still contributing to the game's atmosphere. The development of Defenders of the Last Camp was a challenging yet rewarding experience, allowing me to apply games design theories and frameworks to real-world situations. Despite limitations and constraints, the project successfully achieved nearly all of my must-have deliverables, leading to the creation of a functional demonstration of an RTS-style building system, with survival elements giving me a strong foundation to carry on the development of the project further. In summary, Defenders of the Last Camp provided invaluable learning experiences, enhancing my games design skills, problem-solving abilities, and decision-making processes. It prepared me for future endeavours in the games industry, equipped with the knowledge and skills gained throughout its creation. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the development of Defenders of the Last Camp. I hope you enjoyed the presentation and gained insights into the process of creating an engaging and immersive real-time strategy experience.